know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
A very good evening to you and welcome to Big Talk here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. My name is Godwin Sunday. Well, this is a good time for you to follow us across all our social media handle currently showing on your screen. And if you want to do that, of course, you can just go straight to globaltv.ng to join in this conversation that we're about to have right now, even here in the station. Now, two pressing issues across the country. The first issue is around the fact that most Nigerian youth are saying, will the tax reform affect our entire business? Will the tax reform initiated by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also stop us from doing forex, our side hustles, and all of this? We'll have an expert in the house who will be talking to us in the course of the show to help us bring us to even on the limelight to what this old tax reform is all about, from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu dissecting all the sections of the tax reform law that has been, the tax reform bill, as it were, that has been signed into law right now by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Thereafter, we will delve into the conversation around INEC. Well, a lot of people will say that, why are we looking at INEC? Is it not too early to delve into the conversation of around the electoral matters? Well, INEC have come out to say, hey, there will be by-elections by August the 16th across Nigeria to fill in various positions that have been declared vacant by the Senate and all the members of the House of Representatives, as it were, in the country. We will delve into all of this conversation, trying to bring you the facts, try to bring you the issues, and try to help you make informed decisions with some of the issues that are pressing right now across the country. Well, don't forget again, my name is Godwin Sunday, and we're about delving into the big talk for today. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll begin with the conversations. Please stay with us as the conversation continues after this break.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Welcome back. Well, we'll begin the first conversation around the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has signed into law the tax reforms, just 4 of the tax reforms, and to be implemented across the country. But then there's been challenges so far, and this skepticism from Nigerian youths saying this old tax reform is going to affect our hustle. It's going to affect our cryptocurrency, and of course it's going to affect our forex and other concern that has been raised by a lot of Nigerian youths. But joining me to talk about the tax reforms this evening is an economist and also a professional in policy making and formulation and analysis also. And this is Dr. Emmanuel Abusin. You're welcome to Big Talk, Dr. Emmanuel Abusin.
Thank you so much, Gus. It's nice to be here. Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Thank you.
Dr. Emmanuel Abusin, let's take this conversation first from the angle of the old policy. I have an overview of the policy. What do you make of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's tax reform so far, especially looking at it from the angle of the Nigerian youths who are a bit skeptical of this entire policy so far?
Okay, so the policy is actually to help us re-engineer how government generates funds and shift us from more borrowing to internal generated revenue as a nation. And this is what you see in other nations, especially nations that we all aspire to want to be like, in America, Europe, even countries like Rwanda. The level of tax policies they have there is one of the things we also want. The president is trying to see how we can integrate in our system, in our country, so that the nation can generate wealth and the wealth for the people. So this is not like an attack on the people, but actually something that ought to be done, something we have done before now, that the president is doing, and make sure that there is funds to execute projects. Because when we pay tax, when people pay tax, when companies pay tax, the government can actually, we can also hold the government accountable. So all of the things we have had so far is where it's a laissez-faire system where nobody cares and everybody cares. Nobody want to take action, and people want someone to take actions. It's making a lot of gap for us to be able to see what we ought to do, what to see, or what we should be seeing. So this tax reform, I believe, is something that we all Nigerians should look into and see how we can support, and all of us can contribute. The chair of the committee has done so great. These are best brains that came together to give us what is workable. What is workable, and again, you can also see even from the policy. You don't pay tax if you're not earning above 200, from 250 above, and which makes it very, very clear that even a lot of Nigerians might not be paying this tax because most of us earn below that, and civil servants who earn minimum wage are exempted from this tax. So it's not an attack on the people, but to strengthen the revenue model of how government generates funds to service the people. Thank you.
When we look at the incident of the EndSARS protest that was held across the country, one of the things that the government did was to block Twitter, which was like an official communicating platform for Nigerian youth. And of course, the government went ahead to block that platform and also suspended the platform across Nigeria. We had the then Minister of Information, the person of Lai Mohammed, coming out to say that this platform is anti-government and is trying to disorganize Nigerian structure. When looking at that out on one side, right now Nigerian youth are saying that the government is trying to monitor how much we make online. The government is trying to regulate our inflows. The government is trying to coordinate and ensure that we don't make enough money. But when you look at this, in order to alienate the Nigerian youth fears right now, in all of these policies being put together by the government, is it going to affect the Nigerian youths that are working remotely, that are trading online, that are into cryptocurrencies and other platforms that the youth are engaging in? Will this whole policy by the government in tax reform affect the generality of all of these conversations?
Okay, exactly, not exactly. You know, one of the things the Nigerian people, or we, some of us have been able to do perfectly well is to attack everything and anything, especially to suit a particular narrative. And we have the vociferous among us that when these vociferous lend a voice on anything, a lot of us, some of us, let me not say a lot of us, some of us had to support them because we feel they are their opinion leaders, their top leaders. However, let us look at this thing again critically. The platform where most of the people generate these funds from also pay tax. If you see Google, for example, Google will keep telling you when you're a developer using their platform that there are some countries that have tax policies. They have to integrate these tax policies into their system so that you as a developer, you know about these tax processes. Facebook pay tax in America, which is Meta. So the platform they even use to promote their work pay tax. So when you're earning from this platform and you're asked to pay tax, don't think the government is actually attacking you. It's not an attack on the people, but rather an avenue for the government to generate funds. So we have ways government generate funds, which is what, especially in Nigeria, the crude oil export, and then also tax. And these are means of government. These are the streams government generate funds to service the people. So when this is effectively done, the government can be able to service the people. Like I said, the government is about servicing the people. It's government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So it's for us. What we need to do now is to hold the government accountable. So when we pay tax, we have contributed a part of the obligation. Now we cannot hold them accountable to their obligations. You know, that is how it's going to work. So it's not an attack. And you see, the social media platform is a platform that should be regulated, just like every other country is trying to regulate their use of social media. America is regulating that. That is why you would see that the US Senate at the point were inviting the CEOs of these technologies to come to the Congress House and also prove to the world that they're not using this platform to create more havoc, to create harms and all of that. So it's to keep us accountable. So when you earn either remotely or not remotely, the inflow comes into the country, and the country also have the means of monitoring and evaluating what comes in and what goes out. So these reforms is to help the country generate funds and funds to service the people. Then we can also hold our government accountable. I think that is what we should be looking at, accountable, and we should look into it thoroughly, not just taking a piece of all the policy and try to make a demon of what is good. Just like when people will say, "Don't throw the baby with the dirty water." So we can lend our voice constructively, not making our government look as though they are wicked. And I'm not just here to advocate for the government, but I'm advocating for our country. That most of the infrastructure we want to see, most of the growth we want to see, we have a place to contribute as people. So when you earn, you must pay tax. And when we want to say that, okay, look at America or look at Rwanda, for example, look at the kind of infrastructure they have. Also, we need to know that these people are heavily taxed. Tax is heavy on them, and that is why they can enjoy what they're enjoying. And the government is now also knowing that they are obligated to service those people. I think that is how we should look at it, especially as creators.
Well, quite interesting coming from you as a professional in the tax field. There is this fear right now, even coming from the Nigerian creatives. And that fear is the fact that there's going to be a tax, the tax authorities are now empowered to assign tax IDs automatically to eligible individuals who fail to register on their own, effectively ending the possibility of staying off the tax radar. Now, Nigerian youth right now said, it's not that we don't pay tax, we pay other form of taxes across the country. But then again, to say that we need to get a tax ID just like the BVN and all of this, is this going to also help to alleviate and also improve the poverty structures that we have in the country, knowing fully well that right now, the GDP, Nigerian still ranks the lowest, 11th lowest on the strata of that cadre. All of this put together, Nigerian youth are saying, would this help us to get better jobs? Would this help us to have a better life? When you look at all of these tax IDs and all of this, is this a discouragement from youth to go into business, or should they begin to hide their funds? Or should we be telling Nigerian youth to, at least at this point, be open to the government in order for the government to help you service your various responsibility? What should this ID do for the Nigerian youth in general?
Okay, in all fairness to the President of the Federation to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, this is a government that actually wants to collaborate with the people. It's just unfortunate that the people and the government are still having issues with trust, and due to many reasons. Like I said earlier, the voice of foreigners or the people, other opinion leaders and all of that. So for this, what I would say is one, we live in a country where most of us don't want to be responsible for our nation, and it's about me, I and myself, or I won't say like you're talking to, you feel it's about you. We're not seeing it from the public interest. Most of our politicians, or some of our politicians, let me correct the statement, some of our politicians are more selfish, just like the people. So it's for themselves, not for the people. So that's this tax is not to witch hunt anyone. I'll keep repeating, it's not to witch hunt anyone, but rather create a platform where everybody can become accountable. So when you look at money laundering, for example, we've seen even these content creators, these creatives, accuse themselves of fraud business, of money laundering, they accuse themselves. Some of them will make skits. Like, I've been making skits for the past 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. I've not been able to buy this particular vehicle. I've not been able to achieve this. But you started 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 3 months ago. You're already building the whole nation. You're already buying all the old cars and all of that. This is to also help us trace funds that come in that are legitimate. Some people want to feel like, okay, even the government is corrupt and all of that. Let us not keep pointing fingers. Let's look at ourselves first. It's because when the change begins from us, when we hold ourselves accountable, we can hold other people accountable. We can hold the government accountable. And this is to enable us achieve what we need to achieve as a nation. So why is the card necessary? This is Nigeria. All of us are Nigerians. We understand how it works here in Nigeria, that people hardly want to take instructions. Nigerians, most of us, or some of us, don't like instruction. The traffic, just use the traffic for example, where there are no cameras, or where there are no traffic wardens. Even where there are even traffic wardens, you still see some of us beat traffic because we don't like instruction. I was at an event in one place, and they were asked. There was an instruction from the podium that people from this side to go this side, and before the person will finish talking, the whole hall has everybody in the hall has disappeared. Or trying to go and get the lunch and all of that. Everywhere was rowdy because we don't follow instruction. So because we don't follow instruction, the government are also looking at it. What can we also do to make sure that we can make these people accountable? So it's just for the basis of accountability, so that they can be able to trace the loopholes and fill the gap as much as possible. That is just what the government wants to do. And I want to repeat again that as we want our government to be responsible, we too should be responsible as citizens.
Well, this law also captures a certain section which has to do with the entire MFTs, which stands for non-fungible tokens, which also people largely know this as a cryptocurrency, the way it were in generality. And when we look at all of the cryptocurrencies that Nigerian youth have been able to amass for themselves using various platforms and various wallets that they've used to acquire this wealth, the government did not know how the Nigerian youth were able to acquire this wealth. The government is not aware how the Nigerian youth were able to also generate the funds that they use in trading in some of these trading platforms. But right now, there will be tax that is based on the old 2023 Financial Act. But then I'm curious to ask at this point, the government that have not understood the cryptocurrency, the way it should be and the way it should operate for the last couple of years, we're still struggling to accept cryptocurrency as a means of transaction in Nigeria. Do you think that this old taxation, even coming from the digital space, cryptocurrency, as an economic expert, will it hold water in order to advance the course of Nigerian economical growth?
All right, so when you look at it very well, the government of Nigeria, especially the one led by His Excellency Bola Tinubu, is one that actually have interest in digital economy. You can see that our Minister of Digital Economy is one of the finest that we can have as a nation. And sometimes our efforts might not be seen because there's a whole lot to do, and there's so much that's been going on currently. And I just believe that a day will come that we could actually sing the praise of what our leaders are doing, even though it's not up to our expectations yet. So you see, because of to control fraud or to control malpractice, some of the policies the government are dishing out, not because they don't trust in it, not because they don't know how it's been operated. Matter of fact, you can still believe that the same government that put a halt to crypto transaction also developed a blockchain technology which has to do with the e-naira, and then we need to also give reference to that. And that aim was to see that we can internally...
Do you mean the unoperational e-naira platform that a lot of Nigerians in rural communities are not even aware? And there's a platform called e-naira.
Yeah, okay, that's now one of the reasons why it was put to hurt was the way Nigerians interpreted the then president respond to whatever was happening. No, the NSAS and all of that brought a lot of conspiracy. And I want to be fair to both parties. That I'm trying to be fair to the government. I'm also trying to be fair to the people. The government had a claim that some of the faceless sponsors of the NSAS, in quote, so faceless sponsors of NSAS were using crypto to fund it, and it was going to turn to a full-blown war. It was going to turn to an havoc that the government might not be able to control. Then the people were feel like, this is how we generate our money. You're not creating jobs for us, and this is how we're generating funds for ourselves. This is how we're feeding ourselves. However, it's just like what happens to some of us. Sometimes when one person do a thing to us, we react to other people in the same light. So one person's offense become a punishment for many. You know, one person is bad. You can literally meet many Nigerians right now and ask them, "Are you corrupt?" Yeah, I'm not corrupt. But because of few corrupt persons, it has given us a label as a nation, which is not even fair to us. So an activity of some few can cause an havoc on many. So because there was a hurt on that crypto, it affected the implementation of INERA. Not because the INERA do not have the power to fly, not because the young people cannot drive it. It's still young people that are driving crypto. Many people in my village may not understand, many other people in my village may not understand what crypto is, but I can tell you that there are many young people in my village that understand what crypto is, they're into cryptocurrency, into crypto trading, they're into forex trade and all of that. So it's because of how we responded to what the government did to us. So it's not that the government does not know how this thing straight. Again, you can check the bio of the Minister of Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani. These are fine brains that are working with the president, that are working with the presidency to make sure the government, the country move forward. It's just that we need to see our space, our place in these policies and respond appropriately to get a great nation.
Dr. Emmanuel, just before I let you go, so as a final take, to the Nigerian youth, there is nothing to be afraid of. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, there's nothing to be afraid of. You see, when a policy is being created, it's for us to understand these policies, see where the loopholes are, see where the gaps are, make the government be aware that, see, these are gaps. They're also going to get to sit down. They're going to look at it. Something happened last week, that 16th of June, where the Minister of Agriculture were reviewing the existing agricultural laws, and some of us have to submit memos to contribute to what is happening. And we're glad that some of our inputs were taken. We have a government that actually listen. When we speak loud in one voice, the government listen. But we need to speak constructively, not to label. Let's stop labeling ourselves. Let's not label the government. Let us not label ourselves, and let the government not label us. So we can be able to get results. So it's not to injure anyone, like I said. Let's look at it critically. Let's look at it objectively. It is meant to help the government generate funds and make provisions for the people and service the people. It's about servicing the people. And when you look at the policy in itself protects even the poor. Unlike other policies in other nations, this one protects the poor.
I wish we have time to talk more even on this whole tax reforms as it affects the Nigerian youth. There are a lot of questions that are begging for answer, but let's even take this as conversation one on the tax reforms affecting Nigerian youth, because Nigerian youth are saying at this point in time, we have politicians that tend to feed. They make politics to be a career for themselves, but then we won't have time to delve into that conversation. So let's start this conversation one on the tax reforms of Nigerian youth. I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel, for finding out time to be with us here on Big Talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
When we go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about INEC position even on the by-election come August 16th. Please stay with us as the conversation is just starting here on a Big Talk.
know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
simple communication.
Just in case you're just joining us, this is still Big Talk here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. My name is Godwin Sunday. Well, at this moment, we've been joined in the conversation where we'll be talking about the by-elections in Nigeria conducted by the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC. And I'm being joined by Mfam Asu, who is a chieftain of the All Progressive Congress. Good evening, and so good to have you join us even in this conversation right now. Mfam Asu. Well, Mfam Asu is joining us all the way from Cross River State. I will be talking about these old by-elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission, knowing fully well that INEC have set a record that come August the 16th, there will be a by-election in order to fill certain vacuum spaces across board. But then we are trying to even look at all of this conversation from the light of it and what generally this means, and of course, trying to make sense with some of this conversation and narrative being posed by INEC in order to provide better electoral system. INEC have come out to say the BVAS is intact, it's working right now. INEC have also come out to say that a lot of systems are working. But then, should Nigerians at this point begin to thrust INEC to going back to a by-election? Or should we subject ourselves into staying with electoral officers or within the political party that was elected and probably bring up a second runner-up to be the base for electoral defections, deaths, and other circumstances that might mar electoral vacancies across the country? Well, I'm being joined by Mfam Asu. Good evening, and so good to have you join me on Big Talk, Mfam Asu. Well, Mfam, let's get you talk to us about what your position is right now, even in terms of what INEC is proposing. That come August 16, there will be a by-election. Is the by-election a necessity for our nascent democratic growth in general? Well, what we're trying to get Mfam Asu to talk to us about the position of INEC right now, even on that conversation. Let's even take a look at what INEC is proposing as it stands as at today. Well, INEC have come out to say, hey, There have been a lot of vacancies across the country, and we need to fill up those vacuum positions in order to ensure that there is no misrepresentation from any quarters. All sectors and all regions are fully and adequately represented across board. But trying to look at all of this also, not forgetting the fact that INEC is just an organization and also an electoral umpire. They largely depends on the citizens to give feedback on electoral decisions for them to make informed, also to guide their policy making across board. Well, Mfama Su, you're welcome to the conversation. At this point, we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we will take Mfama Su to know the position of INEC and the generality of the election. Please stay with us as Victor continues in a moment. All right, welcome back. Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission has announced 16th of August 2025 as date for the by-election to fill up vacant seats in the National Assembly State Houses of Assembly across 16 constituencies. Party primaries July 17th to 21st, 2025. Submission of nomination forms July 22nd to 26th, 2025. Campaigns to begin on the 2nd to 14th of August 2025. The by-election is occasioned by resignation or death of members. Well, here are some of the constituencies that needs urgent refilling and why they need arise for there to be a by-election in these constituencies. Man, Bagway Shonono State Constituency in Kano, Alari Kaduli died on April 2024. Isa Sabon Bini Federal Constituency in Sokoto, Abdulkadir Jalini Dambuga died on the 11th of October 2023. Edo Central Senatorial District, Monday Okpebolo resigned. That is the current governor of Edo State. Chikum Kajuru Federal Constituency in Kaduna, where we have Ekene Abubakar Adams, who died on the 16th of July 2024. Dekina Okura State Constituency in Kogi State, as in Dekina Okura, we have Enima Paul, who died on the 14th of December 2024. Ovia South and West Northeast Federal Constituency Edo, we have Dennis Idahosa, who resigned and is the current Deputy Governor of Edo State. Not forgetting that we have also Zamfara Aminu Ibrahim Kasuwa Daji, who died on April 2025. Onitsha North State Constituency 1, as in Anambra, we have gruesome murder of Justice Azuka in 2024, I beg your pardon. Karim Lamido State Constituency 2, Taraba, Mike Diogen resigned, appointed Commissioner. Ibadan North Federal Constituency, that's in Oyo State, we have Olaide Akinremi, who died on the 10th of July 2024. Anambra South Senatorial District, Ifeanyi Uba, who died on July 26, 2024. Ikene Sagamu Remo North Federal Constituency, Ogun State, we have Oriyemi Onanuga, who died in January 2025. Garki Babura Federal Constituency, Jigawa, we have Isa Dongoyaro, who died on May 2024. Zaria Kewaye State Constituency, Kaduna, Ahmed Muhammad resigned, appointed into FCT Civil Service Commission. Muya State Constituency in Niger State, we have Joseph Duza, who died on the 13th of September 2024. And lastly, we have Gania State Constituency in Adamawa, where we have Abdul Malik Musa, who died in May 2024. Well, quite a number of deaths have been recorded so far, and few resignations have been also recorded in all of this. Well, let's get to join the conversation right now by Asu right now, who is joining us from Cross River State. So good to have you join us on the conversation. While we're still having difficulty to get Afama Asu to join us in the conversation, we're trying to find out right now what is the by-election all about. Is it a necessity right now for us to go into a by-election? Why don't we, as a matter of contingency, begin to look at the fact around having electoral systems where the second runner-up within a political party can be appointed to run for that office or automatically get the ticket, since a particular political party emerged the winner of certain primaries that has been conducted or certain elections that were held in the state. Why should we begin to talk in the light of transferring voters' confidence to another political party, or rather investing or spending taxpayers' money to conduct a fresh election across the various 16 16 constituencies as it stands right now? So these are some of the conversations we're trying to find out from Asu, our farm, who is joining us from Cross River State, to help us make sense with all of this conversation. We'll go for this short break right now. When we come back, we will talk more even on the conversation. Please stay with us as Big Talk continues in a moment.
know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
All right, welcome back. We will sincerely apologize for our inability to bring you that conversation with Farm Asu to talk about the INEC issues. But we promise that we'll bring back this conversation to you and also help you make informed decisions like we always do with our conversations here on Big Talk. But this is the size of the show for today, and this is how far we can go with Big Talk today. Don't forget that you can join the conversation on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. And you can also download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcasts. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.